Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all that shared. I really do appreciate that. Shout out to Mayo, member. Burn After Reading, good to see you here. Jill, always a pleasure. I think we had God is always with you today. Hello. And yes, happy Mother's Day, everyone. I hope you had a splendid time with your family. And this is going to be, here's the thing. Like, y'all know how I am about the way I do things and the way my brain operates. So I do recognize that there are some things that I will be, for some reason, I could not, I don't know. If anyone out there has it, I would really appreciate you sending it to me. The probable, the search warrant affidavit, the probable cause to search. I could have swore that that was put out as a separate document in the, in the beginning stages when everything was dropped in like late November. But I don't have it, and I can't find anyone in my circle that does. So if you have that, I would really appreciate you sending it to me. Hey, Truth and Justice, good to see you. All right, sounds good. Hey, Julianne, I always see you. You're always around, and I feel like I am. Hey, Brandon, I am more of a I intake more YouTube because I generally like being a subscriber and a chatter more than I do a YouTuber. I do not consider myself a creator, so I'm just going to put that out there right now. Like, I don't identify as that. I don't have the skills to make, videos and da da da, nor do I have the computer capacity for that. So, this is my attempt. And listen, I will tell you right now, like, there are so many great creators. My all time and still to this day favorite for this particular case is going to always be Incognito Society. I highly encourage you to go back, and she has it all in a playlist where she literally went through every single thing prior to, she started from the time they were missing and covered every single news, every single press conference, every single bit of it on her channel. And it is the most, in my opinion, the most priceless coverage of Delphi, this particular case of Abigail Williams and Liberty German being murdered in Delphi, Indiana on February 13th of 2017. If you really want to grasp this case from the beginning, there are a lot of us that have been around from the very beginning. I was never on YouTube. I was in Facebook groups. It was actually the first Facebook Live that I ever saw in my life. Like, I didn't know that was a thing until, I didn't get Facebook until way later than most people, but was the helicopter footage. It's the first live that I ever saw. And this case has been, obviously, I live in Indiana, not far. I have family in the area. It's a place that I went to frequently as a child because of its historical significance. With the homeschool group, we went on a lot of field trips there. And this is a case that's been personal to me, a case that I have not covered in depth on YouTube for my own reasons, which I've stated over time. But it's been weighing on my heart for a while, of just the stuff that I see happening with this case in particular. I think it is literally unprecedented. That's really sad. You have these, it's just extremism at its worst. And, that's why started using the hashtag like Abby and Libby are innocent, because they are. They didn't deserve to be murdered. They didn't deserve for this to turn into a complete circus. And that's the one truth that we can all know. We can all agree on the fact that Abby and Libby are innocent. And whether it's this particular piece versus, the state versus the defense. And I'm going to try to point out along the way, I'm going to try to be as fair as possible. If this episode, reaches people and it makes an impact, I will continue doing these. If not, I'm going to stop after this one. Because this takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of research. And I am a reference person. So, you got to find the data. But to me, you can build your hypothesis and theories, but it has to be based on the data, the facts that at any given time. And it's irresponsible to just, willy-nilly. There are some creators that I feel do a pretty good job of being fair, and I don't want to offend anyone. There's so many channels that I love the person. I may not necessarily agree, and that's okay. Like, how boring would the world be if we all agreed? If we were all just all the same, it would be a really boring, uninteresting world. So just keep that in mind as you're watching. I am not singling anyone in particular out. I will say that as I go along, if you feel like what I am saying is applicable to you outside of anything that I've said, but if it applies, internal and looking internally is a key aspect of life. And I see a lot of externalizing, to where there's no self inflection. There's not a lot of self-awareness or the potential of the things that you say, especially if they're just touted as true. And you're going to find a lot of the things that is being proselytized onto you is frankly, it's a skewed version of the truth. You got to really learn to look at what is not said versus, sometimes versus what is said. And there's so much that is been twisted into a narrative that fits an agenda of these two sides. That couldn't have been more evident with the coverage of the contempt hearing and it was just a dismissal here. It was a long day of hearings, and the reporting was so, even that just down to the minor people picked up on different things as far as emotions go, as far as the emotions of the judge and the emotions of the defense attorneys, the emotional vibe of the room, if you will. And I think those are all valid. I do, but I also think that they are persuasive to your audience, and that's not really what court reporting is. It's not meant to be that. Hey Hoosier, hey Deb, hey Pug, good to see you guys. Thank you, Pug, for being a member. I really appreciate it. Hey Mary, hey Melissa, hey Kathy. All right, hey Four Pits. Yeah, one must not just think. Yeah. That is true. Tribalism can be nasty, 100%. 100%. And I completely agree with you, Four Pits. I know that you think we don't see eye to eye on a lot. I don't really know what it is we don't, but, to each his own, and I wish you well. I find you to be I I like to hear what you have to say, and I think you are, a contrarian, and I think contrarians are much needed in this world. um, but yes, I hope everyone can just keep an open mind, and here we go. All right. Obviously, that was my quotes. Figure out what is obvious, then scrutinize what the obvious obscures. So, uh, it can be when you understand that concept. And I think I put, I don't see it up here in my tab. So, there's a link in the description right under this, and it's got some really good quotes of like what to expand on, like what I'm talking about when I say that. But this is the state of Indiana, county of Carroll, versus Richard M. Allen. And this is a breakdown of what his cause number is. So the '08 is just that's Carroll County. That stands for Carroll County. The C01 is Circuit Court 1. The year was 22. The month was 10. It's a murder. Like that's what he's charged with. And 00001 is the first murder filed in Carroll County in 2022. That's what that number stands for. This case has also gone over into the Supreme Court. So when that information becomes for quite a few decisions, even, the special judge, that was a Supreme Court decision. And then I believe there were interveners on behalf of the media. That was the Supreme Court. I may be wrong about that. And then the interveners as far as um, the rest of the disqualification, that was one of the things covered, but there were several things covered within that. And I highly recommend you go and check out that hearing. You can view that hearing in its entirety, and we'll get into it as it comes up. But this case was filed on October 28th of 2022, and the defendant is Richard Allen. His attorneys who were, they were, I think it was November 13th of 2022 is when they became his attorneys. At first, Richard asked for, he thought that he would be able to find his own lawyer. And I'm sure like, like, it sounds like you're going to be able to do that until you realize the magnitude of the cost and the cost to your family and friends. I've like our system is run on, I have nothing. Do I like some of their tactics? No. But like they are doing their job, and, it's your job to figure out what is obvious and what the obvious obscures when it comes to defense attorneys doing their job. But the lead prosecutor on this case is Bradley Rosie. He's from Logansport, which is Cass County, and he was retained on contract as a public defender. Rosie is now, Baldwin is his co-counsel, and he is in Franklin, Indiana, which is the county of Johnson. And he's also retained on contract as a public defender and co-counsel on November 13th of 2022. The lawyers are an hour and 52 minutes away from each other. His lead attorney started out being 25. I thought I wrote it down here, but I'm not seeing it. 25 minutes from the Carroll County Jail, where he was for a very brief time. Then he was transferred to White County Jail. And we'll get into that in a minute. I just wanted to point out, now he is an hour and 27 minutes from Westville, and he is currently 3 hours and 9 minutes from Wabash. But I do believe that they have chosen to keep their, what would you call it, like war room at Andrew Baldwin's office. So he is closer to Wabash now. He's an hour and 29 minutes from Wabash when, before he, Carroll County, he was quite a distance for him. I think it was an hour, an hour and 38 minutes from Carroll County in and of itself. And then he was 2 hours and 56 minutes from Westville. So you can see how, like, where he has been placed, like his attorneys like go back and forth with who's farthest away. But I never understand why a judge is picked from Allen County, clearly with a full docket, to be the special judge in this case when she's like super far away from Carroll County. And then the lawyers are super far away from each other, and then we do have another addition. I don't know yet when she was added. It hasn't come up in the court stuff that I've gotten through. Jennifer Auger. She's in Franklin as well. So that's just kind of a breakdown on that. In the state of Indiana, the plaintiff is represented by lead attorney Nicholas McClelland. I say it McClelland. I hear people say McClelland. I don't know what it is, but he is the lead prosecutor in Carroll County, Indiana. Attorneys James David Luttrell Jr. He's from Marion County, Indiana, Marion, Indiana, and that is the county of Grant. And I don't know the date he was added on yet. And then we have a newly joined Stacy Diner, which is in Monticello, which is White County. So I have had more knowledge of her just because of the Ray Hainish case and Garrett Kurtz. But so we already get into some confusion literally right out the jump because count one. So this is according to my case. This was obviously the murders occurred on February 13th of 2017. So that is reflecting that. You have the statute, which is 3542-1-1 parentheses 2. It has been a bone of contention since these charges were filed. And then to me, it just keeps getting more confusing. But so that statute in Indiana is just murder. It's the highest offense that you can get. And then obviously the penalty for murder can range, but it can be life without the possibility of parole. And then the prosecutor does have to request if they have to file. I don't know exactly what it's called, but they have to file their intention to try this as a death penalty case. But that has not happened yet. Foresee it happening, but that's just my assumption. But Section 1 of this 3542 is a person who. So, and then your -1 here is knowingly or intentionally kills another human being. The 2 is kills another human being while committing or attempting to commit. And all of these are felonies. I'm not going to read them all off, but I believe, I think we all can kind of deduce that they were probably talking about kidnapping. But again, this is all of that. And that is the degree is murder. It's just degree murder. Count 2 is the exact same as count 1, because obviously there are 2. This is a double homicide of Abby and Libby. And then we have, I went ahead and added this because obviously this is reflective of just the chronological case summary. But this was added on January 18th of 2024. And this count is just to confuse things even more. Richard Allen is now by statutes here charged with 4 counts of murder. I'm not sure how that's a thing, but again, I'm not a lawyer. But it's a felony, and it's Indiana Code 3542-1-1, which is what we read up here. So it's just this. This is that's murder. That's just the murder in Indiana. And he's also charged with Indiana Code 3541-4. And That is, so the section 2 here is aiding, inducing, or causing an offense. Section 4 right here is a person who knowingly or intentionally aids, induces, or causes another person to commit an offense, commits that offense, even if the other person has not been prosecuted for the offense, has not been convicted of the offense, or has been acquitted of the offense. This really blew my mind. This is a part where I feel, just adding a little bit of my feeling in it, is the third party defense is clearly relevant, based on what the prosecution has wanted to add to the chart, and the way they filed it in the beginning, and the way that they literally like added on to it here. I don't understand why he is charged with 4 counts of murder, but again, not a lawyer. And then count 4 is the same as what I just read. 2 counts were void. I think they were. I think he kind of withdrew them before Judge Gull could even rule on them. But they were kidnapping, which is at a level 3 felony. So that's Indiana Code 3542.3.2a and 3542.3.2b.2a were added and dropped. But I think it's significant to kind of look at like because really what I think what the judge was saying is like, well, it's already up here. Like you've already added aiding, inducing, and causing an offense. So it's like, like why, I think that might have been why it was dropped. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. And hey, Gray Pill, I saw you earlier. Mother of Dragons, good to see you, Todd. 50 Shades of Fae, lighting the way. Good to see you, girl. Marcus, hello. And I think I saw Templar in here earlier. Good to see you. CJK, always a pleasure. Yeah. All right. Okay. So again, this has been dropped. It's not, but I just think it's significant to kind of get a feel for what the lead prosecutor was, considering as charging him with, So the level 3 is kidnapping and confinement. So 35 is the criminal law and procedure. Article 42, it's offenses against the person. And the 3 is the kidnapping and confinement. And so the section 2A is a person who knowingly or intentionally removes another person by fraud, enticement, force, or threat of force from one place to another commits kidnapping, except as provided by. So the B in 3542.3.2b is the offense described in subsection A is a level 5. So it's not those things because we know it was he wanted to have it be a level 3. So you can jump down to the 2, which is a level 4 felony as a result in moderate bodily injury to a person other than the removing person, and a level 3 felony if it is committed while armed with a deadly weapon. So that was on the table and quickly withdrawn from the table for whatever reasons that he had. But I think, I think that these second charges of murder are interesting for a jury to have to decide from. If that ends up being the case, it has been delayed till October. I don't know the date, but yeah. First, we have up the charging information. So that's basically what I had up there already. Show it to you so I'm not just like pulling stuff out of my hat. Out of the. This was filed on January 18th of 2024. And it is the count one, which I find this very confusing because count one and count two are already, that is the original charging, which is the principle. I'm not sure what, like, how this doesn't look a little sus, just my opinion. But yeah, so you see the count one is what I actually read as count three. And then count four would be this. And then the what is that? Did I like count one? So you see these codes here. Count two, same codes. Count three, same codes. Count four, much that just doesn't make any sense to me how one person can be charged with 4 counts of murder with 2 victims. So hopefully that gets sorted out sometime soon. And then the count 5 and 6 were the kidnapping that were withdrawn. Okay. Can you guys all hear me okay? I should have asked. Hopefully you can. Hey, Monica. Good to see you. I was talking about you earlier today. My brother is terrified of snakes. We were watching a crocodile, like, I don't know what they are. Like, they rescue crocodiles and alligators in Florida. And there's also snakes. My brother was like cringing. I was like, oh, I love them. Let me show you a little picture. He was like terrified of the picture I took. Okay. So we have the probable cause affidavit. Everybody is super familiar with it. This is my opinion based on all of the other probable cause affidavits that I have seen in other cases dating back to the 80s. Okay. I feel like it's one of the weaker ones that I personally have seen. Okay. What does that mean anything? No. Probable causes are they're basically just enough to prove to the judge that you have enough. And so this is how everything started. I could have swore that I had, the first thing I had was the probable cause to search of Richard Allen's home, but I don't know. I can't find it anywhere, but I could have swore maybe it's like one of those Mandela things. I don't know, but and might I say that the prosecutors or actual lawyers are the only ones that can, as like all this stuff in the beginning here, like just regular like YouTubers can't, they can file the stuff. Apparently that happened, but like it is a meaningless joke when you are not a lawyer and you're not involved in this case or attempting to be an intervener. But there's that. So this is an arrest without warrant, and that the hearsay statements of witnesses contained herein are considered reliable and credible due to the witness's personal knowledge and or corroborated by the totality of the circumstance. And then this is allegedly the where it starts to be bold and in a different font is the probably like a part. I know it was a part of what they use to search. And people have wanted to say that, like, there's been motions to suppress based on, you trick the judge. And come on, let's put, I hope we don't have to end up like going into detail about that. But I mean, there's just some of the reasons that the defense gave were just completely moot, like it's completely moot. Sorry, not sorry. But so we're already starting. So on February 14th, victim 1 and victim 2 were found deceased in the woods approximately 0.2 miles northeast of the Monon High Bridge in Carroll County. Their bodies were located on the north side of the Deer Creek. At the time, the Monon High Bridge Trail was at approximately 1 mile gravel trail terminating at the Monon High Bridge. The Monon High Bridge is an abandoned railroad trestle, approximately 0.25 miles long, spanning the Deer Creek and Deer Creek Valley on the southeast end of the trail, and approximately 0.7 miles northwest. Okay, like I'm done reading all that jazz. Sorry. This is basically just starts, going, it really covers, what Richard Allen said in a tip that they found. They went back and found. I truly believe, if you watch the press conference on this arrest, there is a woman up there, and I truly believe that, like, she's the one that I think more than likely she's the data analysis. Like, she's and she's gone back, and there's much to do about why this was turned in. And when you are in law enforcement or in a public seat, an elected public position of especially prosecuting, judging, mental health, like it is so very important to be above reproach, and when they're not, it really opens the door for a lot of issues. Now, does above reproach mean you're perfect? You don't make mistakes? Obviously not. But when you're not, that opens the door for your cross-examination on the stand to be and I think that is just silly. Some of the accusations, you'll see that especially when I get to the ballistics and different things, like what they're accusing, multi-state agencies of being involved in, just to me seems really, you got to make a real big leap to get me to get on that. And this is a man that places himself there. Okay. So I don't know if he's innocent. I don't know if he's guilty, and I shouldn't know, and neither should you. I'm just saying. So this talks about, them being dropped off, their communications. It goes through things that, like, in a case, and if this goes to trial, these are things, they're like, I don't know what they're specifically called, but it's a totality of, like, literally building a case step by step for the jury to be able to understand. And so I'm sure a lot of this stuff will, obviously, we know who's going to be, some of the witnesses are. So, in it of themselves, outside, if you just had eyewitness testimony, if you just had ballistics, if you just had, the alleged suspect, like the alleged murderer, confessions, even, or his, statements that were made in 2017 and in 2022. And his own lawyers put out in a press release, which I'm sure they are just not happy. Like, I bet they were wishing they didn't do that, really, really. But it goes on, and yeah, I mean, it is enough, in my opinion, but it is, again, I have to say, it's just not very strong, and you can disagree with me. That's completely fine. Go read some other probable cause charging, like, and charging, yeah, it is what it is, but it's not, there is no, like, conspiracy here with this. Like, this is enough for a reasonable judge to sign off on this. You can agree or disagree with me on that as well. And you can also go and read the Indiana guidelines. They're available to everyone. But this was his statement. According to this, Mr. Allen was on the trail between 1300 and 1530 hours. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building, and there's been people like, well, there is a Farm Bureau building, but we all know that we're talking about. So, yeah, that's a moot argument in my opinion. Like, he parked at the abandoned CPS building. Like, hello. It's just for him to not know what it was called. uh, who is surprised by that? And walked to the new Freedom Bridge. While at the Freedom Bridge, he saw three females. He noted one was taller and had brown or black hair. He did not remember description, nor did he speak with them. He walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although he stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone as he walked. He stated there were vehicles parked at the High Bridge trailhead, however, did not pay attention to them. He did not take any photos or video. His cell phone did not list an IMEI, but did have the following. So this is what, in the beginning, I'm sure, I believe it's Doolin, just got this information from his phone. And if you remember back, people that have been here a long time, we know that I think his name was something Lucas, local creeper. And he was actually interviewed, and he stated this of like, yeah, they asked for my phone, and like I let them look at it, and they did a few things on it, and they gave it back to me. And this was said by quite a lot of people, so and his potential follow-ups for what he wanted to follow up on is who were the three girls walking in the area of Freedom Bridge? That kind of blows my mind that was the potential follow-up information that Doolin wanted to get. Sorry, not sorry. Like it just says in 2017, but we do know that the picture was released, the image from the bridge. There ended up being 3 total before the video, and that was released on the 17th. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. And the video, or not the video, but the audio was released on the 22nd. Again, I wish I had criminality skills of her and Sleuthy Goosey as well. Like them two, like they've got all this down, and here I am with a Google document. Like I know, but I'm very impressed by their work. And if you want, in my opinion, the Gray Hughes Investigates did a basically like this, using this this information, and I think it's like really good, and it's not gray being gray. It's just like this is a working, visual of how this all take place, and not based on not based on anyone else. Sleuth Intuition has made one as well that I think is pretty great. So, but when you think about these witnesses and where they were, I feel like it's quite a leap to expect me to believe that this man that places him there, we later find out that he does have, his wife, says that he has these clothes, he's wearing these clothes. The man in the video that Libby so bravely took is him in these clothes. And then you would have to, whether I don't think eyewitness, that's you can look that up. Like, that is really kind of weak as far as like, do that yourself. I've done it. And I have like done it with like, I've really tried to memorize of like, ooh, like got a weird feeling from someone when I was hiking over here close to my house. Me and my daughter both did this, and it was eye-opening to me to realize how little I remembered at day 2, week week 1 from and week 2 away from seeing this guy to this day. Like, I can't tell you a single thing about that guy, like, so the 2 sketches were made, and people want to like focus in on that. I personally hate sketches. I've seen them just really cause a lot of stress and false stuff with other cases, especially the Shannon Paul case. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. But so this is where it talks about Kathy Allen also spoke to the investigator. She confirmed that Richard did have guns and knives at the residence. She also stated that Richards still owns a blue Carhartt jacket. On October 13, 2022, investigators executed a search warrant of Richard Allen's residence. And among other items, officers located jackets, boots, knives, and firearms. And anyone that's spreading that false narrative of they weren't looking for firearms based on the probable cause to search Ron Logan, you didn't read it thoroughly enough, because it clearly states in there's actually 2. His attorney released them, Andrew Ocky. And he's also a associate of Rosie, but he released them. There's 2. And the one is literally all about guns. So you can't say that they have not been looking for a gun, at least from the probable cause to search Ron Logan, which was, in my opinion, I thought it was a little bit late, but I do know that they did an initial search because he allowed them to. So I believe there's actually been 3 searches of his property. But yeah, definitely looking for guns. So they find a gun at his, and it is a 6-hour model P226 40 caliber pistol. And then they will have the serial number there for that particular. He says that he doesn't let anyone use his gun, and no one has borrowed it. And that's what he says here within this. But back to that, like, you'd have to have me believe that he passes these, because there's all, when you see it in like a timeline, like a visual timeline, it really kind of like makes it kind of clear. Like, so he's coming on to the trails as these, I guess it's 4 now. I originally thought it was 2, like from like what we were doing in the Facebook groups back at this time. But because the mother was, their mother was sharing in at least Doug Rice's group, Bridge of Lies, because I was in there for a brief time before getting kicked out, of course. But yeah, so she was the one like commenting, and she commented on her own like Facebook page, which I thought was just like, what are you doing, lady? But yeah, like the picture of her daughters out there that day sitting on the bench. And so he's coming on to the trail. They're leaving. He passes them. They both see each other. They both say that they see each other. And then it continues on, and he is seen out on the bridge by another witness. And then this same witness is exiting, sees the girls coming to go to back to the bridge. She's going like leaving the high bridge area. So to me, it's quite a leap to think that all of this that was like set out not only by Richard Allen, but these other like corroborating witnesses that like, what was there some other man that is his, body type and height and wearing the exact same clothes that was like somewhere where Betsy didn't see, Richard didn't see, and the three girls didn't see, and he just like jumped like he was the one that ended up on the bridge. Like that to me is like, sorry, I just don't I don't see that. I can't be down with that. That is a leap that is just too much. And then we will get into more of this later, but I didn't really want to get too much into the probable cause because I think everybody has a pretty good grasp of it. And later on, when we're looking in defense filings, it's going to come back up. So I don't want to spend a lot of time here. And then this is another thing that's going to come up later on. So investigators believe Richard Allen was not seen on the trail after 2/13 because he was in the woods with victim 1 and victim 2. An unspent .40 caliber round between the bodies of victim 1 and victim 2 was forensically determined to have been cycled through Richard Allen's Sig Sauer P226. The Sig Sauer was found at Richard Allen's residence, and he admitted to owning it. Investigators were able to determine that he had owned it since 2001. Richard Allen stated that he had not been on that property where the unspent round, another word for round is cartridge, remember that for later, was found, and he did not know the property owner, and that he had no explanation as to why a round cycled through his firearm would be at that location. Furthermore, he stated that he never allowed anyone to use or borrow his SIG. Investigators believe that after the victims were murdered, Richard Allen returned to his vehicle by walking down County Road 300 North. Investigators believe he was seen by, I'm keeping them redacted, walking back to his vehicle on County Road 300 North with clothes that were muddy and bloody. And this is a point of contention. I believe that her original statement is that he was muddy. And the bloody was one of the things that they wanted the fruits of the search warrant to be suppressed. Is this one little thing here? But and everybody thinks it's like this big conspiracy that this wasn't. But if you actually go and read, the same with what happened with the contempt, you have to prove like the intent. Do I necessarily like it? No, but it is Indiana law, and it is pretty much like state law everywhere when it comes to, especially within the judicial system. Like, you have to prove that someone, I mean, even in charging someone, like, you have to prove that like the intention was malice. So something to keep in mind. And this is the original charging. It is not signed, but I did hear a guy, I think his name is Travis. I believe he is a defense attorney. No, I don't know. He's an attorney. And I believe he had said, or it might have been Bob Mata, that a lot of times the prosecution and defense will add on something that is easy for the judge to sign, just like, here's this, if you agree with the above, and I've already done this work for you and you can sign it. Clearly this one is not signed. Does that mean that another order was added and not signed? We'll have to see if we can find it. And now I went ahead and added because this, there's 2 certificates of analysis from the Indianapolis State Police Lab. It's the Indianapolis Regional Laboratory. It's Indianapolis or Indiana State Police Laboratory Division, and it's in Indianapolis, and it's been there for a long time. You can find much information about it, and they're pretty on it. And they also have protocols. Like, people are just skimming right over the fact that when a gun of any type is taken into evidence in any kind of case, they have guidelines on what they have to do and what databases they have to enter them in. So I see a lot of people just like not even bringing attention to just the common things of what a lab would do with a firearm. Hello? Like, oh, so much. But I have gone ahead and, there is a YouTube video of I can't show it because it says it on, can't, pause it. But I was just going to let you look at a little clip, like a little thing of what is mentioned in why is it doing this? A comparison microscope. So this is actually mentioned in the certificate of analysis, this microscope right here. And I just there's the picture of what it does. So you can put 2 side-by-side images for comparison. And then you can also go to this is what they do. Okay, for our firearms, it's a characterizations, ammunition components, firearms function examination, gunshot residue, muzzle to target, distance determination, microscopic comparisons, which is what I just showed you in that other video, National Integrated Ballistics Information Network. So the NIBIN is actually on the certificate of analysis too. Serial number restoration and tool mark examination. This is their website. This is this a kind of a brief synopsis of what they do. But here we go. I have basically, just because I wanted to be able to go through and like highlight specific informations and compare it to the other one. Because I see a lot of people saying that they compared this unspent round, aka cartridge, to the fired casings in here, and this is so his gun. This is in item 314, and I am going to go back and show this document here in a second. But so it's this is what it says in the certificate of analysis from the Indianapolis Division Ballistics Laboratory. It's a 6-hour P226 40 Smith or S&W, so that's Smith & Wesson caliber pistol, and gives the serial number. And if you would like to dive deeper into why it says 40 calibers or Smith & Wesson, you could go back, and this is, basically a YouTube, and I'll add these, but it's just a basic history of how this came to be about. And this is really kind of moot. It's basically like they are the ones, like, this came about in like let's kind of take a gander at this for So, American firearms manufacturers Smith& Wesson and Winchester designed and debuted the 40 Smith& Wesson on January 17th of 1990. This rimless pistol cartridge was developed in response to a horrific shootout between FBI agents and two serial bank robbers in Miami in 1986, albeit nearly 4 years later. The 9mm round that most of the agents shot the suspects with were ineffective in subduing them. This event led to the eventual need for more powerful ammunition for law enforcement. Now, it is like, can't get stuck there because that would be a bias, because we all know, like, I know there's a lot of non-gun enthusiasts or out there, and I think that they're, when you're not familiar with firearms of any kind, like, you can be easily led astray by someone else just giving you, just getting your information from them. But like, this is they design this, so that's why it says that. And it is specifically talking about the cartridge. Okay. I just wanted a more powerful caliber cartridge. And I will be putting these links in the description so you can further educate yourself on them if you so choose to. This is I am not saying that this is Richard Allen's gun. Like this is the one that he has, but based on the description of it and the item number, I think it's number like 17 in the certificate of analysis, it does say that it holds 10 rounds. So the +1 is something that most people that carry do with their weapon, and you simply load, you chamber a round cartridge, and then you drop out your magazine and you put another bullet in there. So the magazine holds 10 rounds, aka cartridges, and if you chamber one, then you can add that other cartridge into your magazine and re-engage your gun. And I wanted to show you what this is. I have sourced this through 2 sites because of just so many like false narratives about this particular issue, which I feel like, just being honest, I feel like it is the report literally says, this is based on, like most sciences, it's subjective. That's literally what the report says. So, in my opinion, like, if this is a part of the trial, there's going to be your ballistics expert from the state and your ballistics expert from the defense, and it is literally, like, from what I have researched in the past and recently, it's a 50-50 on cases that have been adjudicated and guilt was found, or adjudicated guilt was found, and then it was tossed out on appeal. And you get even more of a slippery slope when you have an unspent cartridge, unspent round or load, That's another word for it. But this is the makeup of a bullet. You know, this is not a 40 cal. This isn't a 40 cal, but like this is just your generals of like you've got obviously the bullet part, the sealant, the case mouth, the case shoulder, the case neck, the case where the propellant is held, and you have the rim, the extractor groove, and the case head, the factory code primer, and annulus and year code. So these are all things that are common to a cartridge, and everyone knows like ammunition is like the box of you get like a box of ammunition, and inside of that are your cartridges, your you know. But it seems to be a real misunderstanding with like what a cartridge is. So that's why I wanted to read this before we just go to the thing. Is one cartridge is AKA unspent round. It's a cartridge is a unit of ammunition made up of a cartridge case, primer, powder, and bullet. So, and also called a round or a load, sometimes incorrectly called a bullet. So hopefully this all makes sense to everybody. That's pretty sloppy. What do you mean, Mayo? Hey, Sleuth. Hey, Miranda. Hey, Johnny. Okay. So there's two of these, by the way. There's two certificates of analysis. I've hit the wrong one. Hold on. Okay. Take note of the case numbers here. These come up later. This was submitted by State Trooper Jay Harper from the West Lafayette Post, and it was submitted to Indianapolis Regional Laboratory in Indianapolis, Indiana. There's a huge facility there where they house like different types of units, and they're all free for counties to use these, and as they should and as they did. So the laboratory item, this is a description of the items that were received by this lab. Okay. And these activities were performed between October 14th and October 19th. So they received item 314 is the gun. So a sealed cardboard box containing the 6-hour model P226 40 caliber S&W caliber pistol, and with the serial number. So laboratory item 314 T1 through T3 is a sealed manila envelope containing test fired and cycled ammunition from the firearm in 314. This is standard. This is just like, this is what they have to do. Okay. This is standard. This is like a part of what a lab will do across the board. Okay. Then we get to laboratory item 315. Okay. Sealed plastic bag containing one cartridge. Okay. We've already discussed what a cartridge is. A sealed plastic bag. And then item 316 is a sealed plastic bag containing one cartridge. Now, 317, a sealed plastic bag containing one magazine. So we talked about what that is, you know, the 40 Smith and Wesson. That is the, like, that's what they're just the type of, you know, but containing 8. So a sealed plastic bag containing one magazine, and that magazine contains 8 cartridges in that magazine, and then another magazine containing 9 cartridges. So if you remember, the capacity of this particular gun is 10 plus 1. if you have a chambered round and you take the magazine out and you put another cartridge in it. It is weird to say because, you know, I call them bullets too, or rounds. But I showed you that. I've sourced it with lots of different sources in Indiana and in Tennessee, and different, you know, like this is not something I'm just, you know, flying by the seat of my pants, like just trying to get you to believe. But so you've got a magazine that is containing 8. So that's 9, like the 10, and then you have the capability of having that extra round loaded in you know, ready to go. And then another magazine that is containing 9 cartridges. So there's 9 in that magazine. It has 9. It has the capacity of holding 10 plus 1. Results and opinions. The firearm in item 314 was examined for functional defects and test fired. Common practice. This is like protocol here. No functional defects were found. The examination of the cartridge in item 315 revealed it was a 40 S&W caliber cartridge manufactured by or marketed as Winchester. The examination of cartridge item 316 revealed it to be a 40 S&W caliber cartridge manufactured by or marketed as Blazer. These are just very common. This is a common gun. I don't carry a 40, but a lot of people. It's a pretty common gun, and I don't know. I think that I have shot this particular gun at the range, and is a little bit much for me, but I did like it. I mean, you know, I have issues with my hands, so. So look at this. It says examination of the 2 magazines in item 317. So we're down in here. We've got 315. We got 316. 317 is revealed each to be a 40 S&W caliber staggered box magazine manufactured by or marketed as 6-hour, having a capacity of 10 cartridges. So remember that plus 1 is if you chamber it, drop your mag and put in your another cartridge. So examination of the 17 cartridges. So that if you add these up right here, you know, that adds up to 17, revealed each to be a 40 Smith & Wesson caliber staggered. Did I read that? Yeah. Examination of the 17 cartridges in item 317 revealed each to be a 40 6-hour caliber cartridge manufactured by or marketed as Blazer. So that's also what they're found in this examination of a single cartridge in item 316. It was manufactured by or marketed by Blazer. Here's the important part. The cartridge in item 016, which when we go over to the other one, you'll be able to see, and then the case numbers on the other analysis will back this up. So the ISP laboratory case number 17K00066 and the Indiana ISP agency case number is 17 ISP C001748 was identified as having been cycled in the firearm in item 314. Having been cycled in the firearm. Okay. A test fired cartridge case from item T14T1 was entered into IBIS database, which is the, that's a what is it? I looked it up. It's like kind of how code, like, there's lots of these databases for comparison with other labs. And this is a standard protocol of, that may not relate. It doesn't matter if it relates to this tested round, this test fired cartridge case. You have the casing after it's fired, right? Like, yes, the bullet and the gunpowder, and those things are gone now, and you have the cartridge casing left. So this is typical. This is probably required, although I don't want to say that because, I don't know that for 100, but I'm pretty sure it is required by these national databases. And then item 314T1 were sent to BATF, National Correlation and Training Center, for review. Okay, the test fires in item 314T1 through 3 will be returned to the contributor. So this is the contributor. And they recommend that they keep them for at least 5 years. So while the test fired is not a part of this case, it's a part of standard ballistic protocol. You can identify things by doing that, and then you're entering those into national databases. So that's really all that was. But this is the part, this is the remarks. Identification opinion is reached when the evidence exhibits an agreement of class characteristics and a sufficient agreement of individual marks. Sufficient agreement is related to the significant duplication of random striated impressed marks as evidenced by the correspondence of a pattern or combination of patterns on surface contours. The interpretation of identification is subjective in nature and based on relevant scientific research and the reporting examiner's training and experience. So, I think that is pretty much self-explanatory. And that's why I say, and then you've got you're into a more gray area when you're dealing with an unspent cartridge, like an unspent load, or what was the other name for it? An unspent round. So you're really going into a gray area, but you can see why I wanted to show you the microscopic comparison. And these are all just the methodology that they used. Physical exam and classification, that is standard. Function test, completely standard. Barrel and overall length measurement, completely standard. Test firing, completely standard. Ammunition component characterization, completely standard. Microscopic comparison, completely standard. And NIBIN is the national, I have it pulled up somewhere. Oh, it's over here. And this is signed by Melissa Oberg, forensic scientist, firearms unit. And here. Here's where I can never remember all these acronyms. So the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network is the only national network that allows for the capture and comparison of ballistic evidence to aid in solving and preventing violent crimes involving firearms. So the NIBIN and E-Trace are two key tools that ATF's Crime Gun Intelligence Centers use to identify violent shooters and their source of the crime guns. Okay, so this is also filed. This is the other certificate of analysis, a very important one too. So you've got your case number, your agency number, still done October 14th through the 19th. And this is a sealed paper bag containing a sealed envelope containing a 40 S&W cartridge. Okay. The cartridge in item 016, if you remember that from over there, was identified as having been cycled in the firearm in item 314 from Indiana State Police Laboratory case number, and this is the matching case number to the other certification that I just pulled up, and this is the exact same agency case number that I read in that other one. So this is not, they did not compare this unspent round that they found at the, like, because the libretto just said this, and it was just like, it got like, that was like, I can dismiss a lot, but like, what does libretto have to gain or lose? I can't see that he has everything to lose. You think of like where he works. You know, he's in Allen County. He's one of the lead public defenders, which who are they assigned by? The judge. So, you know, like, I take what he says seriously, you know, and everyone, I don't know. But then again, I wanted to go back and verify what he said. And then this is what I discovered. Like, it's not even true what people have been saying and what he said. So, and this is the proof of it. You know, this isn't me just like making shit up. And it literally says microscopic comparison is how they did this. And, you know, this is the same statement. But they didn't compare the fired casings that they took in those 315 through they took 3 of them in T1 through T3. Like, this was not compared to those. This was compared in item 314. Like, I don't understand where people are getting that. You know, where he is getting that. Maybe it's just a like a lack of understanding of what these two reports mean. But this is the same. The remarks are the same. The subjective, the methodology for this particular report was a microscopic comparison. I don't know why it says Exhibit A on it, but it does. So again, Melissa Oberg. But you know, these are available for anyone to look at now. And I just wanted to clear that up of when you hear people saying that, like, it's just not true. And even libretto saying that, like, I literally wrote down on another document of like what he said. Let me pause here, and then I'm going to pull up and just read you the quote from, he was just on Court TV, was it, that just did that, the newest documentary, and they interviewed him. And also, like, yeah, I'm going to pull that up, but I don't know what all is going to show up. So I'm going to have to like take down my screen and pull that up because I don't know how to do anything other than this. I wish someone would come and give me a lesson on how to use StreamYard more effectively to not show all this jazz. Hopefully everyone is behaving in chat. I don't see a lot of mods here, but just be respectful of each other and don't say anything bad about the victims in this family or the victims' families. That's the only thing I don't tolerate. You can go at each other all you want. If people can't handle being bullied online, then they shouldn't be online. Like, come on, let's just grow up. Like, you can't be like a hypocrite. Like, you go around bullying people and then you like claim when they bully you back, like, you don't get a like, it's just a part of interacting with humans, especially online. Like, it's just the dumbest thing ever. So if you can't handle what someone else is pushing back on you, that is your problem and not mine. And it's not anyone else's, you know. Like, I get a ton of hate thrown my way, and it's amusing to me. It's just amusing. You know, I don't like outright lies. And obviously no one should, but like talking about the way I look, like I could care less, you know, like I really could care less. And I was like literally getting a haircut, and then like that freaking prof guy was like told me to get a makeover or whatever, because that's just what people do when they don't really have anything of depth. Seen many YouTubers resorting to this low level like crap, and I hate it. I think, but it really shows you who they are. It's not a reflection of you or the way I look or anything. It just shows you how, you know, degenerate they are when people attack people based on the way they look. It's ridiculous, but I was like, I wanted to get a haircut anyway, but I mean, I'm not getting a makeover for that stupid dude. Um, hey Daisy, hey rescue all the dogs. Um, Leaving one, yeah, that was the main thing of like how this unspent round came into this, is that they found, and he says that it was like buried, but let me pull that part up where I transcribed what Libredo had to say, because that was really the only like, I mean, it was good, but that was the main thing that like I thought was okay. He says, quote, yes, as far as I can tell, yes, nothing forensically other than this bullet that they claim. So he was asked, you know, is there anything forensically tying Richard Allen to the scene? And he, you know, this is his response: nothing forensically other than this bullet that they claim that they shot through a barrel, but there's no way to compare the markings of a bullet projectile shell casing would have fired through a barrel compared to ejection marks. And it was, to my knowledge, about 2 inches underground. So, key point, and you'll find lawyers do this a lot. So it's like they that admits it, like that plausible deniability there. So it's like, to my knowledge, about 2 inches underground. Because if they like, if that comes up, like that is a huge, like that would be like saying that it's like buried, but it says, as it was, to my knowledge, about 2 inches underground. Um, that will have to be something that hopefully, that should be a key thing that they're going to want to try to do. But his other statement is that I believe they sacrificed a girl and killed another one. And he when he was asked, he said that he does believe that Richard Allen is innocent. And the second time he has said this about that I know of anyway, that he believes that they sacrificed a girl and killed another one. Libredo says that after the judge ordered the warden to make them stop wearing their Odin, this will come in later. Odin patches, Mr. Jones had it tattooed under his right eye. That's not really relevant right now to where we are in this case, but just wanted to read that to you. Um, Come on. This old girl is just getting slower and slower. Both of us. All right. What is our time? We're at an hour and 24. Okay. Not as long as I thought. We'll get through a few more things. Let's check in with the chat. If you really want me to read yours, you can send me a super chat. They're much appreciated. I'm not one to mince words about it. I don't have a issue with it at all, with YouTubers earning money. It does feel, and I have said this in like other places that I am, like for me, it is, it is a difficult thing, it just is by its nature. And that's why the Greeno coverage is just a pleasure to be able to receive some sort of supplemental income for covering him. So I do appreciate them. Like they keep, and I love it. A Sleuth always says, and hey Sleuth, if I forgot to say hi to you. Thank you for sponsoring this live. And I think that's like a great way of like of thinking about it, like you sponsored this today, like you helped to make this live happen. And I don't see a problem with that. Hey Glenn, how are you, sir? I was listening to you guys while I was finishing up my research, you and Based Oracle earlier. But yeah, Glenn Lawrence has a channel, and I find him to be very interesting and inquisitive, and that whole community with Raging Tomato, like Sarah and Based Oracle, and there's a new one that I've started following as well. Flow State, like Uncle Guns is over there. There's just a lot of really cool people and a lot of differing opinions, which I love. And I love that interaction, and it's not true crime. And it's like, it's refreshing that it's not, but there is a lot of drama over there. But like, when I think about the impact of like that stuff, like it really helps me to kind of like center. So I've been really enjoying my time over there, and it honestly has kept me from doing a reaction freak out over here in my own channel from being over there. Just probably helped a lot of people out, like for me to be over there for a while. But it's the same, like this, like how I feel about LA and the pork session and Uncle Tom and Kai and like and then everyone that is over there, like Mayo's over there. And like, it's a nice way of just like doing something on YouTube, but not being in this particular genre. But I'll tell you what, they can all be toxic because there are just toxic people in this world. Like it is what it is, like you can bitch about it, or you can just move right on along. It's not going to change anything, whether you don't, like people, like it's just, well, people are people. There's all kinds of kinds. And I'm appreciative of that. I think it would be a very boring world if we were all just a bunch of robots, Hey, Kentucky Sleuth Angel. Nice to have you here. Photos of the bridge guy were released on February. Okay, thank you for that. And one day after me, the DNR officer. Okay. I haven't seen like proof of that as far as like when. I would love it if you have that, Todd. I'm not being a dick either. Like I genuinely want it because I really want to try to be like unbiased. And I've already pointed out some things already on the state and the defense of like misleading things, like, and we're going to get into a lot more, and there's going to be people that don't like what I have to say. And you know what? Like, I'm fine with that. Like, I've always been a contrarian, or I don't like to call myself a contrarian, but just like capable of being that. And like, I feel like that is something that, it's important to be able to keep yourself a little bit like balance in life, just can't overemphasize that. And it's something that I have struggled with my personality type. Like there was a whole section of my life that I dedicated to being middle male, like, and that was for a reason, because I do tend to be extreme, like I will go balls in deep into something. And like, before I know it, like I've spent thousands of hours of my time on like researching, and trying to grasp an understanding of a particular topic, whether it's in the Bible, whether it's in, DNA, genetic, like human genetics, like medical genetic. Like, I mean, and I go these extreme things and I do things and then think about them later, and it can really get you into some trouble. But like, you have to be able to like be self-aware of like what you struggle with. And then like the key to life is just like trying your best to like break some of those things where they can be your greatest strength. Your greatest strengths can be your greatest weaknesses in life, and surround yourself with people that are willing to accept that about themselves and strive, that's just really the key. And there are people that are, it's called externalism. It's like they're not able to take their own inventory. So these are people that you want to avoid having any kind of a relationship with, because they're not able to, everything is everybody. They're the victims always, they're the center of the universe. They're the victim. And if they want to control their environment, they don't want to like, have a balance of being able to internalize and then like keep things separate from internal and external. And they're super easy to spot, especially in the true crime genre. Like, that's what I find fascinating, is people and human behavior. So you can be cognizant of that. There are people that are able to, and people are always like, oh, but they want to like, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it because they're my friends. And just, one. And a lot of my other friends are just like, tell me these things, but I get that. Like, but for me, accountability and like, like that's just me owning what I need to fix. It's not me belittling myself. Like when I do, for me anyway, when I do that, I'm just owning like what is obvious, of like, if there is a pattern in your life, and you're the common denominator in it, then that's, regardless of what the other person has done, like you have to be able to see where you're the common denominator in things. And like, that's, I don't know. I think it's healthy. And anyway, I don't know where all that came from, but Daisy, hello. And all the other people at the park that day didn't see him. That also matters. Yeah, it does matter. I want to know what you're talking about, Mayo. Did you ever respond? Sorry, I had to step away. My wife was going to leave me. All right, poor Pits. Hey, Miranda. People don't give the CSI folks enough credit. Yeah. Pug. CJK. Agree, Miranda. Making up stories about what they did and didn't do when they weren't at the crime scene. All right, there's probably side conversations because I've missed a lot. Oh, leaving one between the bodies. Hey, Johnny. Okay. Yeah, and like I said, like a case should be, especially at a jury trial. I'm sorry, that was the article I was going to read. Let me like grab it really quick. I think I have it right here. So we get, well, I guess we're going to be stopping. We're not going to be getting these anymore because we're not going to have this. We're not going to use this particular company anymore, but it's from the US CCA and it's a concealed carry magazine. And what's this paper? I don't know what that is. Clearly it was my bookmark at one time and I've displaced it. Okay, but this is where, oh my gosh, I freaking hate this. Where's Chaotic Beauty? Like, this is the freaking article in this magazine that we get delivered to our house monthly, right? So this is the creepy. I hate those things. I hate those. I don't know. I can't. What are they called? Like marionettes? Is that right? I don't know, but I hate them. But I don't even think they're called marionettes. I don't know, but I don't even want to look at it. I'm going to turn it like this. But I wanted to read this because, it's true. It is what it is. You can like it. You can not like it, but putting words in your mouth. Don't end up being a dummy by Anthony DeWitt. Trials are supposed to be about finding the truth. But in most cases, they're about deciding which narrative the state's or the defendant's makes more sense to the jury. Jurors can choose from only the prosecutor's version or the defendant's version. And every defendant suffers from the belief that most juries hold. If you're arrested, you must be guilty of something. The prosecutor's job is to craft a believable narrative and, if possible, prove it from the defendant's own lips. Since the prosecutor can't call you, he or she will cross-examine you. Therein lies the problem. So it's just about the legal ventriloquy, if that is even a word. But yeah, that's what that creepy guy is. But it goes on. I mean, and every lawyer learns in law school. Dean John Henry Wigmore's axiom about the cross-examination being beyond any doubt the greatest legal engine ever invented for the discovery of truth. And yes, and I think that is the key to a jury trial. But if people think that wait for the trial, like the truth will come out, no, not really. But luckily we do have access, we will be able to know, but the jury is not going to be privy to this. And they shouldn't be. All these motions in limine that both sides have motion for. Glad there's some hearings. I'm sorry. You can't 100% get behind Judge Gall. She's done some things. And I think time has really shown, because and both sides should be mad about that. She should have followed the Indiana guidelines for disqualification, but she didn't. She had this, meeting, and then obviously this is the only time that she's allowed cameras in the freaking courtroom. Just the one time. If she had made a pattern of cameras in the courtroom, then this wouldn't be so sus. So she's done some things, and she's done some just is she too busy? Is she too far away? You can't just be if you are a special judge assigned, you can't just move it to your county for your convenience without having a hearing about it or getting an agreement from the prosecutor and the defense. It's just not a thing. But she's done things like this. And there's just things that she's done along the way that you're going to see of just you can't. It is what it is. Ignoring it doesn't make it not true, but it gives the other side something to really pick at you about. And vice versa, when they get on these, the things with the ballistics or different things that were filed in, some of their filings in the Franks, multiple memorandums at this point, multiple editions. It's what are they saying versus what are they not saying, and being able to put that together as much as you possibly can if that's what you so desire. But just to be he's innocent based on these things is just irresponsible. I'm sorry, but it is. So Wigmore goes on to quote attorney and abolitionist Wendell Phillips, who said, quote, "You can do anything with a bayonet except sit upon it." And that always reminds me of Game of Thrones. But if you think about it, like, I think this goes back to, oh my gosh, was it the Russia and the Perusia, um, of like, or you can see it now. It's like you can conquer something, but can you hold it? Basically, just in a nutshell. And I went down this long rabbit hole of like studying all of these like um what are they called? Like now I've done forgot because I watched Law Abiding Citizen and it came up again and he says it in there. He was like basically like what he was doing was, oh man, what was the quote? I bet Mayo knows it. But yeah, like he was basically of like handbook of, I think this quote comes from Napoleon, one of Napoleon's, like, I don't know, he just seemed kind of like I can't remember the dude's name, but yeah, like that quote, and like you see it a lot in criminal law. Like, even though that's like a war tactic, that quote is a good one. Anyways, moving right along. Well, she sounds like a smart girl. I'm sure she will be good at whatever she chooses. Responding to Miranda. Oh, University of Michigan. That's awesome. I have a ingoing sophomore and a outgoing graduate. She graduates well, like as soon as we get, like, she doesn't want to attend the graduation, but yeah, she is a college graduate. I couldn't be prouder, with a major and a minor. And yeah. Hey, Lone Pony. Thank you, Mel, for sharing this information. Very helpful. I hope so. I hope people can like get past their own, like, I know we all have. I've stated it publicly. Like, I have a bias towards the state, whether that is law enforcement, the prosecutor, like, because you just I want I want proper adjudication, and like for people to be held accountable and locked up so that they don't kill anyone else, and for the families, like, yes, the victims are no longer on this earth, and I believe they're in a better place, but the just irresponsible, like, people saying the most just like heinous things, and then the choices that people make on who they like call out, like, I don't get it, like that. I said I wasn't going to mention them, but I am. That CJ guy, I just watched a clip. I mean, I'm like trying to make a point, and pretty much everyone on the panel was like, no, but it's like he's going to get like hashtag justice for Abby and Libby is like so meaningless. He's going to get it tattooed on his ass. Like, who says shit like that? Like, come on, that dude. If you're going to call out like bad actors, at least be fair. There's so many but all over this case, regardless of their opinion or if you agree with them. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of people just like, well, they're on our side. Huh? Like, to see Jamie Hicks like trumpeting for Greeno again because he's trying. Oh, well, we're going to give him a break because he's on our side. Like, no, Greeno is not on a side except for what adds to his pathology in his pockets. Like, let's just be real. The dude is unhinged, and he definitely doesn't represent the community of Carroll County. Like, that, like, what he's posted just about um street justice and the picture of Amber Green and like things like that, like nobody should align with a guy that like says those things. Just let alone the extensive, outlandish scams and swindles and grifts and victims that this dude has in his wake. Like, he's trying to do, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You want to come at me and then you do this? And I've seen quite a bit of you over there. And that's crazy. That's crazy that you could know the truth about a person and still choose to interact with him. Like, I have zero respect for that. Zero respect for that excuse of like, well, he's on our side. Like, get the hell out of here. These people. Like, it's so just, I can't. Oh, thanks, Mayo. Daisy and Rescue All the Dogs. Are you Rabbit? Hey. You guys do research and take away time from your families, and there's nothing wrong with that. Thank you for saying that, Rabbit. Monica, I tried to send a super chat, won't go through. That's okay. I'll check it out later. That's okay. Oh, Daisy, thank you. Thanks, Mayo, and happy Mother's Day, especially for Carrie, Anna, and Miss Becky. I love that you said that. Yeah. Today has got to be a really hard day for them, you know. I can't imagine, and I don't want to, you know, and that's like what, you know, it's just a a club you don't ever want to be in. And like I've said multiple times before, you know, I've been here since 1985, going strong. So, like, there's never a case that I'm going to be just like balls out, like, oh, it's the, you know, the family's evolved. Like, I don't care if they end up being involved. I'm going to be proud of I don't care about being right. Like, ooh, I was the fair. I said this. I said that. I nailed it. Like, who freaking cares? Like, what do you like the sacrificing your own soul to be right? Like, no, thank you. Hey, Gray. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I said that it's like the jumps and leaps you'd have to get me to go through to believe that, like, he's not the guy on the bridge. Is just like there's another person out there dressed that way, wearing those things, seeing the same people, other witnesses, and then they did a to switcheroo on the bridge. Like, think about like that's a lot. Like, that's a lot to have to go through. Does that leave room for other theories that I don't have a right to postulate on? Yeah. Like, but you don't know what you don't know, and it's irresponsible to like go any further. But I think that, you know, for me, just based on like how the lab said that they do it, you know, based on like everything that you can kind of pull together from all of the information that is available to us right now, it is you got to take me to get to very an extreme, like Occam's razor. What's past Occam's razor? You know, like I like of that's like that is like a thing. Like, you have like we're going like to get away from Occam's razor to go into like Hickham's dicum, or the other one that's often referred to, Hanlon's razor, I think, or something like that. Like, come on, that this is you lose me. You lose me when you want to say that. Um, Past that, the state has to prove the rest of the case in a court of law. Like, it is what it is. The prof is a fool. Oh Lord, I can't stand him. He is just so weird. But this dude, this prof dude, like he's done some stuff's over there. Like I don't want to talk about that, but I I thought I had a pretty reasonable, like I truly wasn't trying to be like whatever he always says people are always doing when he doesn't agree with them. He accuses them of gaslighting and being narcissistic and blah blah blah. Like, and then, he's like doesn't respect me because I was over in on like Kai and Tom's show because it's like a dude's on there and me and Kai. Like, but he came on the panel and I was just trying to be nice to him. And then he like sent Ruckus a message that I was like, wanting him or something. Like, oh my God. But yeah. Because they were like, oh my gosh, Dahmer just joined the stream. And like he was like being creepy. He just was on the stream and he wasn't talking. And I tried to be nice to him. And he took that to mean that I was hitting on him or something, that I wanted him, which is ridiculous. But it's a ridiculous leap to make because someone is kind to you. Like, I don't get it. But he wrote down like to a comment to this other crazy person that I can't stand, Louis. But she said something passive aggressive, blah blah blah, like I can control what Ruckus does. Wish it could, really wish it could, but you can't control will do. But he was like, oh no, she thinks I don't remember. She talked about me on November 10th of 2023. Like, wow. But what an interesting date. What an interesting date indeed. But yeah, it was my trash or true crime episode where I was like, he's literally like, I don't even remember what he was doing at the time. But yeah, I did talk about him. But you know what I didn't do? Didn't dox him. I didn't put out his personal information or put his family at risk or say anything like horrendous. Like, that's what I'm talking about. These people that like, they take your criticism of them to this extreme level of like sensitivity. Like, I don't know. It's just so childish. The problem's full, just like so many of the true crime Delphi YouTubers have become. They brought a conspiracy and can't see anything outside the lens. Yeah. Lenses are super important for viewing all kinds of things in life. They just really are. Yeah, like I, I see that, but I also see where she's just kind of been an asshole. That's how I see it. I just, um, yeah, I agree. Like I get it. There's a lot of coincidences in true crime coverage, but um, yours was good, and I know you worked hard at it. Yeah, you better not. No one better block Gray. Um, Nobody better block anyone in my chat other than unless that they come in here bashing the victims or the victim's family. If you want to bully each other and like talk back and forth, like be able, if you can't take it, then get what's that saying? I don't know. I always mess them up about if you can't take the heat, get your ass out of the oven or something. I mean, kitchen oven. I don't know, but yeah, like if you can't take it, you just need to go. Um, oh, um, hey Fig, how are you, dude? Yeah, he's gotten a lot of unnecessary flack, in my opinion, as well. Where I have sources in other cases, and like I get that, like I get that. Of like you don't want to burn your source, but like, put him in a in a pickle where they were able to kind of use that against him. And I think he's kind of released some stuff that if you watch it, you'll learn something. And like I said, there are people on the other, like I find them to be, I like them as people. I don't agree with them as far as like, but I believe that they are passionate about why they believe what they believe. And like, that doesn't bother me at all. Like we all have our differences. Criminality is one. Like I like her a lot and she entertains a lot more than I think a lot of people are comfortable with. But again, put your big pants on and get over yourself. And like there's just but there's some people that nobody should be tolerating. No one should be like even paying them any mind or amusing them or allowing them up on your stream. Take it from me. Freaking that little creep Frank, the little guy from the other country, to do that live with him. You know how like embarrassing that is for me? Am I going to take it down? Am I going to like, like I have to own it? Like supposed to go do. Am I back? I don't know. My Wi-Fi just shuts out. Am I back for anyone? I don't know. There's such a delay from StreamYard to YouTube. It says I am, but back. Hey, criminality. Hey, P. Fletch. Back in action. All right. Glad you came over here, P. Yeah, it just happens. But maybe that was like a cue that I was needed to end it. But I did have a super chat that I would like to find. Thank you, Gray. $10. Keep up the fight. Happy Mother's Day. Sad how the conspiracy of Odinism has taken over the minds of the people in the Delphi community. Yeah, but like it's I I know that it was investigated. I know that there's lines of inquiry, especially this case has like been open for 6 years. Like there's lines of inquiry though, and like it's obviously there's something about that line of inquiry in particular that is moot. but like it was there's people out there saying that it was just like it wasn't investigated, when I know it was. Like, and then, we'll get into some of the other stuff that has gone on that is like later on down. But the next slide is going to be about the motion to let bail. Okay. That was a key time where the people on, pro defense should be calling out their own people for that. Like, I don't think people understand, like, yeah, is it likely that the judge would give Richard Allen bond? I don't know, probably not. But it would have forced, it is a constitutional, it is a, you can look it up. The motion to let bail, sometimes referred to a meaningful bond hearing, where McLeland had every right to ask for the judge to, because originally there was a bond for Richard Allen. It was like ridiculously high, like $2 million or something. But then, he asked because of the egregiousness of the charges, and that was granted. And then as soon as his attorneys are on the case, that's one of the very first things they do. Okay. It happened on November 22nd of 2022. So again, they're appointed and by November 9th. The motion to let bail was a crucial thing, and you gotta wonder why they decided. So she granted them the hearing for the motion to let bail, which where the prosecutor would have to prove his case beyond the probable, the charging like the probable cause affidavit, or like the charging affidavit, like he would have had to prove beyond that, not to a degree of beyond reasonable doubt, because then what would be the point of all of that? But so he would have to call state's witnesses, which would likely have been law enforcement, and it would have, like, a lot of things could have been prevented. And a lot of the things that they did simply were, well, if you have a problem with it, you got to take it up. It's not specific to this case. You can go and watch tons of YouTubes about inside prisons and inside jails. There was go watch Unlocked, like, to the false claims of some of that stuff is just, when you get down to the nitty gritty, do I like it? Do I morally like it? No, I think it's counterproductive. They're suicide watch. It is degrading and demeaning, and it shouldn't be that way. And there are people that are wanting the pre-detainee, especially in that, like, changed, but it's not to this case, and everybody's trying to make it specific to just this case, and it's not. It is a nationwide problem, and like, that doesn't start with this case. That is you gotta vote, and you gotta make sure you have the proper people in legislation, and like, those are legislative changes, and that, but they're not. When we start going through this, you're going to see, because I'm going to show it. It's not, there isn't, like, just with the sheriff, like what he did. There's a lot of people that, like, forget the part where it says, like, under Indiana law and, like, Indiana Constitution, it's the sheriff has a right, like, to act, that's specifically, that is the clause of, like, for the protection of the people and for the protection of the person, which would be Richard Allen. If they cannot keep him safe, like everything that they did, and then once they did that, everything from there on out is on the IDOC commissioner, which is appointed by Governor Holcomb. Sure, her name is eluding me right now, but, like, yeah, it sounds like, when you read some of the defense's filings, like, they sound like, oh my gosh, it's like they're very they're good, they're doing their job. You got to give them that. but they're just the Shakespearean things. And even Judge Gold just did it in one of her, latest orders. This none of that, like, it was just unnecessary, but um I think it's her ego. Sorry. Well, I'm not sorry actually, but like, just like unnecessary words in there that were just kind of dramatic. Like Diener did it, even though if you read like the crux of like why he did what he ordered and what he did, like everything is not, there's nothing like super, there's nothing like wrong with that under Indiana. Like what is if what has happened to Richard Allen, and then they contradict their own selves. Okay, like they say that he's been in solitary confinement, like a prisoner of war. Um, but then when it benefits them, they let you know that he's, on a suicide watch, which is someone going by your cell every 15 minutes. So it's not necessarily like really like the solitary confinement that they're making it out to be. And I have a huge problem with it. I don't like the suicide watch. Segregation is totally normal. We want him to be there for his own safety. Like, but the it's I don't know. Well, but we're gonna get into it because I'm gonna prove it. And I'm not doing that right now. I'm just yapping. While your mods attacked me, Gray, what did you do? That you don't remove comments and people can say what they want. I do too, Gray. So I don't know. Unless it's about the family or the victims. And I'm also not gonna hide the fact that Hoosier Cold Cases and I are friends in real life. Like, and that makes a huge difference to me because I know him as a person, and I have known him for quite a while now. I've interacted with him on many, many occasions with his family, and the stuff that people are accusing him of. It's just simply not true, that Ruckus would allow Alex I think he's a total scammer. I think he's as fake as all get out. But to allow him to say all that stuff that he did and for what the prof's done lately, like it is just completely balls out, like absolutely horrendous. I don't care what the person that gave you all of this information, I obviously have some feelings about that. But it's obvious if you read it, like but to accuse us of like all this stuff that people have been accusing of. I mean, like she was like spreading around, I don't know who all it got to, that Fig and I are like related because he looks like my brother-in-law. Like there's just been so many things that have been done that are just like, I've had no idea, I've had no idea that they have been going on, or that I am a suspect in all of these different things like this. It's nuts. But just because someone sent you their emails to law enforcement you're not excused because it's not the truth. Half that shit in there is not even true. And it's clearly not like, the truth is like, I know the truth and I don't feel the need to like have to, I'm not, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to, tell you guys the truth of what all is going on, because in doing that, I would have to, dox or talk about that person. But if pushed, I will. If pushed, I will. But that's just not, that would take a lot. Like, but like, I am going to stand up for myself. and for the people that I know that had absolutely nothing but the best of intentions, and some, for whatever reason they had, it's just, it's so, I don't understand. I don't, like, it's going to take me a while, but I, for me, I don't care if we're not friends anymore. Um, Personal things in a friendship, whether that friendship was just fake or one-sided, like, um, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm still not gonna like turn against that person and like just, put all of their information out there and tell you guys the whole story. But I don't like, my problem is if it was all just directed at me, I could care less. But when you're bringing in just people that are my friends, and because of that, and like that they were trying to help you, and you just like I don't, I just can't just like sit by and like, again, like, there was people that were in there that were just absolutely undeserving of everything that went on in the last couple weeks. Absolutely did not deserve that. And the only people that can really take your tips are not YouTubers, people. Can direct you to where you can give the tips, which is, like I've told this person over and over again, but somehow it was twisted as I'm in on it. But the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they have an entire agency dedicated to that type of investigation. If you don't trust your locals, if you don't trust your local law enforcement or the FBI, like the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, like that's who you go to, not YouTubers. I'm not an investigator. I have no power to like uncover anything, nor would it be proper for me to investigate a bunch of minors on a live because of some link you found to like put all these things together. Like it is, and it's for that to get twisted and used against me, like that's one thing. But when you use it against my friends, that's where I have a real issue, you know. Um, well, I mean, Gray, like I said, you gotta like if you go places and like you gotta be able to, like, if you can't take the heat, you gotta get out of the kitchen, like I go in criminality chat and there's one lady that follows me around. Seems like she follows me around like she's just a complete a-hole, and she's been around for a long time, and I know who she is, and she's not all the other people that people are accusing her of being, like who's your cold cases. She's really just her, and she's really just an asshole. But like I don't blame it on criminality. Like people are assholes in everybody's chat. It just is what it is. Um I know you do. I know you do. I'm no G. I've been there for, I even just discovered that I was there before um really the Delphi case. I didn't even realize it. I have you were like one of the first people that I followed in my like like another YouTube that's just like my family. And I had logged into it the other day and I was like, "Oh wow, like I have all of these notifications from Gray and a bunch of like a few other people, but like, yeah, that I haven't used that account in a really long time. Hey, Frosty, other cases need attention. 100%. Delphi is wrapped up whether they like it or not. Law enforcement got the right guy. I was a multi-agency. Oh, not you. It was in a multi-agency effort, federal and local. Yeah, I know I get why you are stand firm on that, and I'm just trying to like I'm trying so hard. It is so hard to not like show. It is just really difficult, to not like to just like present the truth, um, of just like not taking a side. Like, because I do agree, if you read my description, the extremism is what I have a problem with. But I understand it because like automatically wanted to come out and defend, law enforcement and like defend the prosecutor and like defend it all. But like, it's like, and I get why people want to do that. But at the same time, like it's created it's created a Delphi sphere, which is just so sad to me. That's why it's like hashtag out. Like I can't even hashtag, but whatever. Abby and Libby are innocent because that is a truth that we can all agree on, and like, I just think that like the balance is, what's key really, just got gotten so far away from that. And I see a lot of people, just, I'm sorry, but I, a family, like, does anybody watch true crime? Like, actually, like, what, like, consume it and like watch trials and appeals? Um, like, what family just wants some guy held accountable? What that like makes zero sense. And that's not how they feel. Do I know them personally? No. Do I talk to them behind the scenes? No. I don't know why everyone accuses everyone of that, but because that it's just not true. But it's just like me being I feel like a decent person of like defending them against some of these wild out channels. Like, I don't know why everyone's going around and thinking I have a Pappas or whatever the fuck is somehow just like that's so great. It is this like dumb. I'm sorry, but it's just like dumb stuff. And it's not right. Like it's not right to do. It's just not. And like I don't get it. I don't understand these people, you know, that are just um I don't know. They just fit into a category that everyone should be getting away from them. Like everyone, everybody. Yeah, Frosty. Like it's just wild. Um, I haven't yet. I haven't yet, P. Um, Not that I've been able to like I have to take in information in a certain way, or it is just one in one ear and right out the other. But once I like um take it in a certain way, I got a better recall. But I did start to look into it, and then something happened. But and why were Delphi police, ISB, and FBI willing to be a part of it? It's absurd. Hey, Brown Skittle. Whenever there is a roadblock in someone's theory, they just say corruption to bypass the logical roadblock and keep going. It's a free pass for when logic fails. Yeah. Yeah, the whole the confirmation bias. Like I literally watched that CJ guy do it like on live, and I was just like, what is happening? Like someone was just like I think it was actually Oshbrook, and he just like didn't want to like push that narrative where like literally even Oshbrook was just like, well, this is just the way it is. And he didn't want to hear it. Like it was like kind of, yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like, but I see it on, there's like, I feel like there's these pro prosecution, pro defense, and then there's this category of humans that have a camera and a laptop and a microphone. It's not hard. Anybody can do that. It doesn't mean they're authority on shit. And if they don't take that responsibility of these few things seriously, then, but you got to be able to, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I did go to college, but I feel like it would have been even more of this. You would have learned more of this about, sourcing your information and like vetting it and, but on the same token, like, you're going to take heat when I've had it in the Shannon Paul case. I have a source that I'm not going to burn that source. Nothing is really worth that, but I'd take a lot of heat for that. But it's just like, you have to be willing to do that. And then I think that I actually clipped it just for you. I don't know if you have it, but I'll send it to you if you would like, Vic. Where I'm pretty sure, whether accurate or not, Julie Melvin says that she is the one that put out all of the information that you're being accused of. Is set it on a live, and people just like rolled right past it, because it's Julie Melvin. Like, I mean, she's so ridiculous. Like, you guys have no idea, but to have to deal with her, ask the Facebook group people that have been here before. Like, she is just, she thinks, like, she has her grift, and it doesn't have anything to do with money, but it definitely has to do with other, you can, like, people can get reward from not just monetary, like Reno does it all the time. There's no place for some of the far-flung hate filled theories to blame the families. Yeah. And I see a lot of people also, like, I'll have like from all camps, just, whether it's the fringe, just wild, like Greeno and like some of those people, they're just like, I feel like they should just be like they shouldn't, no one should be there. But then you got probably like pro defense, pro prosecution, and then you got this, like, which is just a societal thing. You see it in government. This does it work there? No. Sorry. Well, no, I'm not sorry. But hey, Mary, I don't know why people believe she is so I know. It is amusing though. It's one of those things where it's like, that's intriguing to me, to like get like the inquisitiveness of my brain. I was just like, what is that? As possibly being charged with obstruction of justice. She's a meddler, a liar, and an instigator, and it's on record, is what people are saying. Yeah. The live got taken down where she touts that she is responsible for all of the leaked information about the crime, the bullets and casings or whatever the hell she's talking about out there. Like, she literally, like, took credit for it all, but they didn't want to hear that because they just wanted to make you look like the bad guy. Why would he wait until the election was almost over to arrest RA? Why not use this arrest in your campaign for a year? And why not pick someone with a record? Yeah. I just feel like if they were going to frame somebody, it would have been Ron Logan. But I don't know. They've done some things that, like, they're not okay. They're absolutely not okay. Like, it is incredible. And I think that it has a problem. I think it is an ego problem. And, I'm so sick of, I've been sick of not even having to do with anything negligent, or whether that is intentional or unintentional, just this freaking unified command word. It's like, oh, I hate that freaking word. I'm so sick of it. unified command, like when it just doesn't really seem that unified, outside looking in, just, but is you can say they lost 70 days and you can make that sound like very egregious. But when you actually look at case law, case review, cases on appeal, you're not going to find that that is going to be something that is a viable, um, it's just not there. It's just not there. Like, it's not there that it's going to amount to much. And that's why I'm doing this, because I think that some of the things that the state, whether that's law enforcement, prosecution, that they have done, that if I were the families, like, people should be mad at them for, like I said, you want to be, you are taking a job where you are called, in my opinion, you're called to like a higher standard, of being above reproach. And does that mean you don't make mistakes, but you don't make a pattern of them? And like it's just, there's a lot of stuff, and like denying that stuff isn't relevant or didn't happen, like doesn't help anybody. Like, it doesn't like help bridge like a gap. It just, like, I think people think by like not saying anything about it, it's like honoring the victims and the victim's family. And I see that point, and I counter it with, just go back to the 2019 presser, of like, these families have worked so hard to keep especially the Patties, they have taken so much criticism and shit, and they've done so much to get this case solved and in the public's eye. And they printed off all of those flyers with the second, like, well, the second sketch, like and then at the 2019 presser, they come out with the second sketch, because it's like the first sketch that they did, but it was the second sketch that they released. And then it's like totally different. I hate sketches though. So I just think they're useless. I think they should just be like under seal. The public shouldn't see them, especially when you have a video of him on the bridge. Like, hello, like, I don't know what more the public would have needed other than that, but whatever. They had all those flyers printed out, and then they just said, okay, well, and then they did it, like they buckled down and did it. And now look who was arrested. It's just like, there's been some things that I feel like they could have done a better job. They could have been a little bit more unified and like done things differently. There's so many unnecessary things that they like kept hidden from the public that just made it a snowball. But all right, I'm going to cut it off here, because this is exactly what I didn't want to do. And then I just did it. So it's like, it's really hard to not, though, Yeah. I'm trying. You know how I feel. Me and you have talked, and I like got, like, and, it's like, I'm trying really hard, and you just can't, like, just be weary of people that will just jump on a bandwagon because of like agreement of like, oh, like, I see this with Greeno, and I'm just like, what in the hell is happening? Like, how in the world is he able to yet again convince people that he is changing when he like threatens to kill people every week? There's something new he's saying that is just horrendous. He's literally still on the run. Like, what? He's not making a documentary. Like, it's just not, it's not a thing. Neither is him. There's been no there's been no change. So to believe a green note email of correspondence to and from the clerk and the judge because he says so, no. But what she said on there is this is not a news media. He literally showed you for one, it's expired, even if you believe it was legit at one time. It expired in 2022. But he flashed that up as his credentials of being a media person. It's like, dude. But, he's going to add me to his documentary. But I mean, I've showed you the live. I did a whole video of all the times that he has claimed to be having TV shows and that never, and he literally does the same grift. Like I've got two companies or whatever he calls them that are like competing for my TV show. Like it's literally the same thing. It's like, what kind of company needs what kind of a producer? He calls himself a producer, a videographer. He's got a GP film crew, but what kind of a producer hires another producer? Huh? Just think, people. It's nuts. Hey, Veronica. It gave us more questions. Yeah. Oh, did I? Lone Pony, thank you. $4.99 from Lone Pony. Thank you very much. Who is also a member, probably thanks to was that Mayo? And again, my memberships, like guys, like I work, have to. I have a lot of other responsibilities, and I cannot I just can't. So if you like with the members, I feel like, and it makes me feel bad because I see other creators and they're like doing really great and they like their memberships like are awesome, and I value being a member. Like, so says Dewishan, his members, like he does so much stuff and like, I can't do this full time. Like I cannot afford to do this full time. And so like, if you are a member of my channel, just know that like, it's because you support, whether it is my content on cold cases, trying to shed a light on being fair with the Delphi case or, Greeno, like you just like, you're a member because you support what I do. Like, that's all I can say. It's very hard to do all of the things, like I'm not good at it because I'm too anal in my research. I spend all my time there sourcing stuff and like reading it and like proofreading and like going down like rabbit holes to like try to find the most information I can share that's like backed up with proof instead of just talking. But all right, I said I was going to end it a while ago. Thank you, Rescue All the Dogs. Hey, Chaotic. I think you weren't here. You missed it when I showed the little creepy guy. But you're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. And we all know who is really about Amaya Robertson. And it sure ain't Fork and Greeno. It's probably bait. Don't take the bait. Like, he's just a complete loser. But yeah, Chaotic and CC and Cog. There's a few people that really know what's going on with the Amaya Robertson case, and it sure is not that mofo. You're welcome, sweetie. All right. Good night. Thank you, everybody, for being here and everybody being, I hope, pretty civil. I think it says a lot about people when they can like come together whether we agree all the way or we don't, you know, and hopefully more people from the pro defense come over here, because I am going to be talking about things that I do agree with them on, you know, and hopefully they can, like, some of their followers can see where they are misleading you as well. Like, I want that for this family. I want that for this family. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.